It's Viva Vitality today on our special show, and we're going to explain to you, dose by dose, how, whatever your age is, you can learn all about how to stay strong, vital, and with it, baby. So here we have us now, none other than Kimberly Ficklin. Are you from Salem?
I am in Happy Valley now, but we just moved from Salem.
Happy Valley.
Yeah.
And so we're going to have happy times here. And so we're going to learn about her early childhood, or the good old days, and how she's evolved to what she is today, a health and nutrition consultant. And she's going to share for the first time publicly her trade secrets and how to keep your life vital. And so that now it's springtime, we want you to sprout and blossom and bloom, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, so once upon a time, you were born in California.
I was born in California.
And how long did you stay in California?
I moved up here to Oregon about 12 years ago.
So most of your life was spent
most of my
as
life
a
in
Golden
California.
State Golden,
Yeah.
pre-Golden girl.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, tell us about your particular town in California and what it was like growing up. Give us a visual picture of a street scene. I am transported in your time machine back, and I'm a neighbor on your street. What does it look like?
Well, I'm from Stockton, California, and our neighborhood was pretty much suburbia. We lived in suburban new development, and
called the San Joaquin Valley, very agricultural.
yes, yep, we are completely engulfed in agriculture, so lots of nice fresh produce and great things to eat. But yeah, then it was a much smaller town than it is now. It's grown tremendously, and it was a little rough around the edges. It's been known for that. But I moved to Modesto when I was about 20 to raise my kids. I started having children about that time. And so I kind of moved a little bit.
And you know Visalia too?
I do, yeah.
I have a friend who used to live there,
Yeah.
now in San Luis Obispo.
Oh, well, that's a nice place to live for wine, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. My
Yeah.
father was in the wine business, P.S., and used to write about California wines a lot, Napa Valley, etc.
Oh, yeah, my favorites, for sure.
We'll drink to that.
Yes.
Okay.
Toast to that.
Good.
So yeah, I moved to Modesto, and then from there up here.
Okay. Let's track back to some of your early childhood dreams, Kimberly, when you were a little girl in pinafores and patent leather shoes or whatever you wore, sandals.
It probably was then.
What were you dreaming of becoming?
You know, funny, nothing that like what I've actually become.
Yeah,
So
the fantasy.
Yeah, of course. I thought I was going to be a dancer. That was my favorite thing, and I pretty much felt really comfortable as an entertainer. I thought I'd be some kind of entertainer of some type.
Cerise too.
Yeah, so that's really what I always thought I was going to
Was it
be.
ballroom dancing or the frog, the monkey? What kind of?
Just any kind of dancing,
okay.
really. Then I mean, dancing has obviously evolved.
There may be a place for you in Dancing with the Stars.
Oh, in the Salem's Dancing with the Stars, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Okay,
yeah, I'd
cool.
love to do something like that.
Okay,
so.
cool. So you wanted to be a dancer, and what made you prance in a different direction?
You know, just life. Really, just life.
Yeah.
My mom had some friends that owned businesses, and during high school, she would say she wanted to make sure that I had something to fall back on in business, and so I always went to their businesses during the summer and learned different things, accounting and whatnot, and then that's what I did for years.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, when you were in, let's say, high school, were you active in any athletic type stuff, or?
You know, I really wasn't that athletic in sport. I mean, into sports that much, really.
What were
no.
you into besides dating boys?
I was into dating boys.
I mean, you are photogenic. We have to acknowledge that.
Well, I was really into skating. I used to love to roller skate because that was big in my day, and they
yeah.
actually had roller skating rinks where we could go
Wow.
to. So I spent a lot of time roller skating. I met my children's husband. He was a speed skater, and I was doing some figure skating, and so.
He was in the fast lane?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, a little too fast for me, but
Okay.
yeah.
So you found a different spin doctor.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. You know, I like to play with words. Anyway, did you have a special academic subject that you?
I did not. I really didn't.
You were just
Yeah,
lukewarm?
not initially in high school, and then I began to have children pretty young, right out of high school.
Okay. Did you have any particular teacher who encouraged or motivated you in giving direction or to study either there or you did go to college?
I have gone to different types of trade schools, so
Oh,
I
the
haven't
trade
been into
school,
a
right.
university, but I've done the
Okay.
different types of.
So mention some of the catalysts that gave you energy and encouragement along the way.
Well, I definitely have to say that in high school, my dean, because sometimes I got in a little bit of trouble, and instead of being a hard person to deal with or, shaking his finger at me, he was more of a
Nurturer.
He was very much a nurturer, and spent a lot of time with me. So he gave me confidence that I think I was lacking when I was younger, and so it helped me out.
That's why you got into trouble.
Yeah, that's probably why.
You needed the attention, negative or positive.
Yeah, I'm guessing.
Now, in your family, you were not the only child, right?
I'm the oldest of two. My sister is 2 years younger than me.
Okay. Did she get more attention, or you get more attention, or evenly spread? Looking back,
I think it was pretty evenly spread.
Okay.
Yeah.
So okay, good.
Yeah.
And okay, so continue. You're now in high school, and you had the dean who was very.
Yes, he was very supportive.
And how did that change your outlook on yourself in life?
Well, what it did was he taught me I didn't need to be a bad girl. It really did. He taught me that that I could get support and build my confidence in other ways. So that was really valuable.
Life lesson.
Incredibly valuable. Yeah.
So for all of us out there, take this moment as a teaching moment from Kimberly. These are the Kimberly Chronicles, so to speak. It is, and with a K, Kimberly Chronicles, and. You can have an influential person or persons along the way. It could be a teacher, it could be an employer, it could be a work colleague, and they give you that extra push, that kick in the backside, that tender loving treatment, and help shape your life in a new positive direction. And so the bottom line is, the lesson is, tomorrow does not have to be a repeat of yesterday. That's the way I could sum it up.
It's so absolutely true. Yes, you are not, what do they say, you're not the sum of your past. And it's very true.
Just push the delete button and let that...
Start all over again.
Let go. Yeah. You wipe the slate clean.
Yeah, it's absolutely true. Yeah, we can do that in our health, too.
Okay.
So.
Do you remember your first job after high school? What were you doing?
I do. I actually worked at JCPenney's.
And what did you do there? Sales girl?
Yeah, sales girl in the juniors department. And I loved it because, well, MTV was big then.
Yeah.
So they had TVs with MTV playing all day long. I mean, what else could a 19-year-old
Groovy,
want?
man.
Yeah, and I worked in the young girls department. I mean, my age.
Well, that's also interaction. So you're getting to know your generation. You're getting to know what sells, what to be hesitant on, and it forces you to adjust to all different personalities and situations. And that's learning it too. A lot of people don't realize that any public domain sales thing teaches you, and there are going to be positives and negatives, but that's what life is, and you deal with it. And you don't let it become personalized. It's not you, because everybody brings the personality that was formed before you came on the scene.
That's very true. The most important thing I think I learned from that job was customer service. And
tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I really learned it because I watched what other people weren't doing for the customers as they came in. And one thing that stands out to me is back to school shopping. So the moms would bring in their daughters and they'd be shopping, and we worked on a little bit of commission. We'd make a little bit of commission on sales that we rung up. And what I would see was the other girls would just kind of stand all around the register and just wait for people to come up. And they were getting like one shirt or one pair of pants or one skirt. But when I went out and talked to the moms and started asking them what they wanted, they were just taking all my recommendations, and they'd come up to the counter after working with me and put a bunch of stuff on the counter, and the other girls couldn't understand why I was getting these big sales and they weren't. And I realized then it was because they weren't giving any customer service. They were just worried about the sale, and they weren't worried about the value that they were giving to the client when they walked in the door.
Lesson is be sensitive, multidimensional, and don't just worry about the sale itself. You're dealing with a blood and flesh human being. They have feelings, they have needs, satisfied or unsatisfied, and you were there to negotiate with them, not to use them on a conveyor belt.
It's very true.
Okay.
Very true.
I try to use figures of speech and all.
Of course.
Okay. Let us find out how you got into this vital health business, and explain what you do to the viewers at home so that they understand your specialty.
Sure. Okay, well, what I do is help busy professionals regain control of their energy and vitality and look and feel years younger. And what brought me into doing that was I worked in the senior industry, like we had discussed before. And a few things were happening. Was first, I was seeing what I didn't want to become. I didn't want to be sick and not vital and in a wheelchair or have health illnesses and things like that. Like I could just see that wasn't the life I wanted to live. I wanted to be vital. But within that environment, it was very stressful. So I was in corporate sales and I was really stressed out. But I thought it was normal, Lee, because don't we all? It's like we think everybody goes to work and we all commiserate with each other on Monday morning. Oh, my back hurts. I didn't want to get up. I need a cup of coffee. And we all do it with each other. So I thought it was very normal for us all to behave that way. Right. But then what happened was I got really sick one day. It just came on. I became very ill. And when I went to the doctor, they
gastric stuff?
Yes, they diagnosed me with a condition called gastroparesis.
What a good guess.
Yeah, it's very common in our nation right now. It's not uncommon for people to have some type of gastric distress. But when they told me that, what they said was, here's great, we know what's wrong, but there's no medication for you. I mean, there's no medication for your specific problem. But I was already on 12 medications.
Well,
for the symptoms.
You're a walking medicine cabinet.
I really was. I really was. And I couldn't go some
and
places.
That's not healthy.
No. And some of the medications I couldn't go without, like a nausea pill. I couldn't even just be in my day without it. But what happened was, once they told me basically, this is the way it'll be for you, and these 12 medications will be what it is, and they weren't helping me. I was still sick, I said, I'm not buying that. Like, I don't accept that. I don't want to be sick for the rest of my life. And what I could see was what I didn't want, what I had seen in my work environment, how I didn't want to become, was exactly what was going to happen to me. And it was literally because I wasn't taking care of myself, and I didn't eat right, and I had too much stress in my life.
Handwriting on the wall.
It was right there, and we should all see it. But because we live it and we're not an outsider, it's hard to see.
So nobody really wants to be trapped, and a lot of people just blatantly accept it.
Absolutely.
And
yeah, we think it's a part of aging, or it's just normal.
No, it isn't. I myself follow in your footsteps. I try to be resilient, having worked for 30 plus years with mainly the elderly community in New York, Maryland, D.C., Virginia, New Mexico, and now Oregon, East Coast to West Coast. And as I told you before the show, I worked with a lot of homebound people, Meals on Wheels, home care population, as a home care assessment type social worker. And I saw what I didn't want to happen to me, and particularly feeling trapped and all. So that's why I collect about 150 plus Broadway musical videos, and also Shirley Temple movies and James Bond and even some others in that category. And so if I ever become homebound someday, I will be able to entertain myself and do that. And I should really get some more
well, you seem
exercise.
So vital. You're just got so much energy.
They tease me being the Energizer Bunny geriatric version.
Yeah, I think you're doing just fine.
I'm 70 and all. But, I refuse to even when I had that prostate surgery recently in the hospital, I thought my job was to entertain the doctor and the nurses. And, I really did.
Yeah.
And I got better rapport with them because they were so stressed that they welcomed having a patient who would entertain them.
Right, it's so true. And even going back to our doctors and that, who take care of us, who are also stressed out, and they don't recognize it.
I have to share with you something. 10 or 15 years ago, I had a doctor in another state, and I said, "Doctor, of all the illnesses floating around, which would be the most insidious for you? What would you hate winding up and getting?" And he thought a minute. He says, "Definitely a stroke." I said, "Why stroke?" He said, it would really collapse my whole lifestyle, and I won't be able to play golf again.
Well, he had priorities, right?
Oh, yeah. But it was very revealing, and I think everybody out there should ask their doctor which illness do they most want to avoid. And you learn something. It's the other question I sometimes ask, and you could ask any of your friends there, if you were to go back in a magic time machine to the time of your life when you were happiest, where would you land?
Where would I land? Right now.
Right now.
I wouldn't go back.
Okay.
Yeah.
And why now?
Because I feel better than I've ever felt before.
See?
Yeah.
So ask yourself that question when you go home tonight. No, you're at home already, probably.
Yeah, they're at home watching us.
Okay. We're entertainment for you to make your day a little more charming than you found it. Anyway, and you were charming all.
Oh, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
As I said, Kimberly is not only a name, it's a city in South Africa. And this Kimberly replicates that because she's a gem, a valuable entity in her own right. And her husband, Mr. Ficklin, appreciates every nuance of her.
Thank you for that. I appreciate that.
Good. And that's why things are happy in Happy Valley.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Well, I know somebody in Happy Valley. We're going to talk about that now. So tell us some of the things that you practice, some of the concepts that you put into
Sure.
motion
Sure.
as part of your Vim. What is the official name of your outfit?
My company name is Happy Healthy Life Plan.
Happy Healthy Life Plan.
Yeah. So we give you a plan
And
to
you
live
could,
a happy,
you could
healthy
tell
life.
the director out there, they can put it on the screen. Or why don't you tell us now, if they want to write to you, you have a website?
I do. Actually, you can email me at Kimberly@happyhealthylifeplan.com.
Mm-hmm.
And my website is also happyhealthylifeplan.com. Makes it really easy for you to
Okay.
find me.
So,
Yeah.
and I'm allowed to say this on the air. Her unofficial slogan is, feel crappy, move to happy.
I like that one. I'm going to use it officially now.
Okay.
If you don't mind.
Okay, I come up with a lot of dumb, cute remarks.
That's a good one.
That's what keeps our audience, I suppose.
That's good.
Okay.
Well, yeah. So
So-
from there, I mean, once I found out I was sick and I wanted to change my life, and I just started making simple swabs.
Okay.
I just started finding out, like, thinking about what I was putting in my mouth every day. What food am I eating that is not contributing to me feeling energy and vitality?
Right.
What are the environmental stresses around me that may be putting a toxic load on me that's making stress levels higher or my immune system low so that I can't handle the stress and anxiety the way I should. And so that's what I started doing. I just daily, and that's what I talk about with people, is because sometimes people say, I can't do it like you, look at you.
Okay.
Well, it's 4 years
Okay.
of me making these little daily swaps
Okay.
that have changed my
If
energy
we
and
could lure
vitality.
Kimberly down here once a month, we could do a special show called Don't Mess With My Stress.
Yeah, see, I love that. That's a great
You
idea.
made a new friend today.
That's good.
Mr.
Yeah.
Ficklin better not be jealous.
I think he'll be fine.
Okay, good. Tell us about how you apply this in raising your wonderful Sarah out there.
Well, my daughters
I
are.
know she doesn't listen 100% of the time.
No, she
The
doesn't.
gospel according to Saint Mama.
No, she really doesn't.
Uh,
But what my own health journey has done is, the amazing thing is that when you have your own health journey, you want to share that with everybody, right? Because now you feel great, and you know everybody can feel that way. And so then your family changes, and your community changes, and you can change just on a large scale, right? So for my family, my daughter, within a year or so, had lost a significant amount of weight by learning the right things to eat. And because again, I really didn't teach my children growing up what the right things were. I thought I was feeding them the better options, because instead of like ho-hos, I gave them fruit roll-ups. But now I know that those really aren't the better option. But so in my mind, always I thought I was doing more healthy things. So at least my kids were very used to not go. They used to say, "There's no soda or candy in our house," and there never was. So I always was, I think, kind of health-minded, but like most people, just on the wrong path.
you were drifting in ignorance.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. I mean, honestly, we all know just enough to kind of make it worse
This is a
for
good
us.
time for me to announce my own gospel. I hope the next mayor and city council of this great city of Salem will consider the following proposition. I would like to have Salem being the first city in the state, if not the country, to mandate that every restaurant and every hotel at least have one item that's diabetic friendly.
Oh, that is such a great idea. That is a
The
great
current
idea.
population is getting, what do they call it, the Pac-Man eaten up by the diabetes epidemic, and your kids and your grandkids will follow suit if nothing is done now. It's the nutritional parallel of global warming in a way.
You're absolutely right about that. And juvenile diabetes right now is out of control.
Skyrocketing.
It's crazy. And you know, type 2 diabetes is something that is completely preventable in our world. Now, type 1 is a completely different situation,
okay.
But type 2 we really can eradicate.
Okay. I'm going to do something even different. I'm going to try to work with you in the libraries around the state and seeing if the week before Halloween, which is a good candy dumping, candy ingesting holiday, that we could educate the public to what equally sweet or delicious, but more nutritious treats can be. Because otherwise there's a tricky treat. Trick and treat. It's a tricky treat that we feed. And it's really almost like slow motion toxin. We don't call it that. We don't like to admit that. But a lot of these sweets and the candies that go out, I mean, I come to all kinds of affairs, and the first thing they have is cookies and candy.
Yeah.
They think they want to sweet tooth you or whatever. Sweet. It's really sweet talk and all. So.
It's so true. And the other thing is not just type 1 diabetes. Sugar causes us to have serious gut issues. Leaky gut syndrome, candida issues are all caused by sugar. And if we could just cut our sugar intake back, that alone would change our health.
And let me add, because a lot of people don't realize, diabetes is not sugar alone. It's all carbs.
This is true.
Including pasta, too much bagel, too many cookies, too many thing. If you have cereal, as I do, with high fiber, it helps to neutralize it.
It does. Fiber in a diabetic diet is a really great thing.
So I look for a lot of the fiber.
Yeah.
I have fiber fever.
Well, it's good for you.
Okay. What else would you like to tell us about other healthy things? What kind of exercises are good for older folks?
You know,
a limited thing.
I'm a proponent of just walking.
Walking.
I really think that walking, it's good for your muscles, it's good for your heart.
And what about people in wheelchairs? What can they do?
You know, there's some exercises that you can get. Maybe a family member could help them get some exercises online. But there is exercises that they can do with their legs and feet. Yeah, all kinds of things while they're in their wheelchair.
That's our footnote for you people.
Yeah, I mean, any of it. A lot of things can be done, because going back to working in assisted living, they had people there who would help do the exercises and whatnot.
Okay.
So
That's a good subject to bring up.
Yeah.
You've worked in the assisted living and nursing home, foster home field for a long time.
Yeah.
What advice can we give to our friends out there if they're looking at a home? What should they look for? What should they avoid so they don't get trapped into a place that has nice decorations but poor follow through?
That is such a great question, because it happens all the time. This is my recommendation when people ask me that. I say if you have a family member that can help you, that's a great thing, because it's overwhelming when you're looking at stuff. But go to the community and ask if you can volunteer, or sit in on a few of the events that are happening, or entertainment or activities that are happening. Because what happens is the staff will notice you at first, but then they'll forget. And then you get a good indication of being able to look around. How does the staff interact with the residents? Are they being cared for? Are they being entertained? Are they being nurtured? Those are things that you'll see when everybody's not got their best behavior forward. When you come in as what they would consider a tour, everybody's going to look polished, and they're going to treat you really well, and it's all going to look good. But the crux of it is the care part. And you can learn that by sitting in and watching.
Okay. Do you have advice for other people who are thinking of they may enter the health and fitness field? Where should they start? What?
Well, it's going to depend, because it's very all-encompassing. You know, people can come in from the
if
fitness
somebody
part
wanted to follow in your footsteps and be like you, what would be some of the steps to take, Kimberly?
Well, the first thing that was really important was the research part of it, and I did go back to school. So I did go back to school and get I'm a certified practical nutrition consultant. And then I'm also going to school right now to be a certified clinical weight loss coach. So it does help to have schooling behind you. You need, if you're going to be a nutritionist for sure, you need to have that nutrition background in the schooling. And if you're going to do weight loss, the great thing is to know the psychology behind weight loss, not just losing the weight and what is the right thing to eat, but why we actually keep those things, weights on. So I would definitely say that the first part would be training. Getting in and getting some schooling, understanding of it.
Yeah. What is the most important thing that somebody should take away as a preventive measure if they're listening to the show, taking notes in their mind, if not on paper? What is the mantra you are giving to our friends, our public out here?
Well, my mantra is watch the food that you eat.
Okay.
Everything for me is food is medicine, and it's either making us feel bad or making us feel good.
Sometimes it's stealth food. You can't tell. It's sugar-coated literally and figuratively.
It really is. So if we can do things like get back to eating what Grandma and Grandpa used to eat, then that would be the
and
best
remember,
help.
we're in a political campaign now, and I was just thinking the other day, the beauty of a politician's sign, having hired a top-notch artist, doesn't render any real insight into that politician's effectiveness once in office. The same as if you just go by, judge a book by its cover literally, and the label of the can looks so pretty because the artist or photographer made a beautiful, color-friendly picture of their best possible plate and all, and you think because it looks so yummy that it's going to do you good, think again.
It's very true. The best advice I could give people is to begin to understand how to read labels. And when we read labels, we read things like fat, sodium, salt. But in fact, if we actually read the ingredients, what's actually in it, and made sure it was natural stuff, we'd be better off. It might be good.
This is going to take longer, but it might be a good idea to take along your cell phone if you have an email and research any strange item before you put it in your shopping cart.
It's so very true.
I've never done it, but it sounds like it would work out.
Yeah, it's really true. And if anybody's interested, I am going to be forming some workshops here that'll be in depth for the foods and what to look for when you go to the grocery store.
Your website and all.
Or send me an email.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this Mother's Day, make sure your mother's in good shape. It's coming up shortly. And make sure you're in good shape to be supportive. And if you have a setback, a tragedy in your life, do not use that as an excuse to pig out, because because you are getting yourself closer to another tragedy, and that is curtailing your lifespan and giving the mortician an extra customer.
That's so true, and we don't want that.
So on that not so happy but realistic note, I want to thank you very much, Kimberly Ficklin, for coming from Happy Valley.
Yeah.
And we will see you again. Eat heartily. Bye now.
Bye-bye. Happy, healthy.
Okay.